Hello everybody, today we're looking at lay phrasal verbs, so phrasal verbs with lay. One thing I'll quickly mention at the start of the lesson is don't mix up lay and lie. Lie can mean two things. It could mean lie on the bed when you put your body and recline on the bed so that you are flat on the bed. But lie can also mean say something which is untrue. So lie has at least two meanings. English people very often mix up these two phrasal verbs when they're speaking. I do too, it's certainly the case. If you lay something on the table, you put it down. And you can also lay the table, by the way, which means put all the knives and forks out on the table ready for dinner. So you can lay the table and you can lay something down, meaning put something down. That's over here, put down, lay something down. That's actually what lay means, to put something on a surface. But lie means to go back with your back. So they're very similar, and the main problem is that lie in the past tense is lay. And so you can see why we mix these up. And I think that these phrasal verbs are very often mixed up with lie phrasal verbs. And for that reason, it's a big mess in a lot of people's heads, including mine. It really is. It's a big mess. But yeah, please remember that lie is lie, lay, lane. If you're talking about lie back, yeah, he lay back on the couch is just lie in past tense. He lay back on the couch. He lied back. He lay back on the couch is correct. But it's the lie verb. But when you lay the table, you put things on the table. Okay, so that's the first thing I wanted to mention. Lay and lie are two different verbs which are very easily confused because the past tense of lie is the same as the infinitive of lay. It's very confusing. Okay, so let's start with lay by. You normally lay something by or lay something aside, so that's quite important. I ought to put the something in there. It goes in the middle of the phrasal verb. And when you lay something by or lay something aside, it's exactly the same as put something by, put something aside, or set something by, set something aside. So if you have already watched my videos on phrasal verbs with set or phrasal verbs with put, you should know certainly that these both mean to save something for the future. It could be money. You could be laying aside some money for the future. You could lay aside some free time as well, possibly, for someone for the future. But it's usually something, and you could lay some, if you're in the military, you might lay some weapons by for the future, or lay some ammunition by. Lay by some ammunition. You can also put it on that side of the verb as well. But yeah, lay by or lay aside, exactly the same as put something aside for the future, set something by for the future. And I want to remind you that we also have the phrasal verbs squirrel away. Squirrel is a hard word to pronounce. Squirrel away. And that would mean to hoard something for the future. So slightly different than these ones, because this is just save something for the future, all of these. Save for the future, perhaps I'll write that down, save for future. Whereas squirrel away would mean hoard for the future, so save a lot of something for the future. You know that squirrels save their acorns for the future, they bury their acorns for the future. They're very they think about the future, so they're very sensible. They make sure they've got lots of food for the future, so they squirrel it away. And you could also say stock up on here, which means stockpile. So you might be stocking up on Christmas presents already, so that you don't have to buy them all at the last moment. You might be stocking up on presents for different people in the family to make sure it's not so stressful at the last moment. But you can stock up on anything. If you think there's going to be a nuclear war, you might decide to stock up on tinned food. It will probably be a good idea. So stock up on is exactly the same as stockpile, exactly the same as that word. And all of these are at least slightly connected to lay something by for the future. And by the way, a lay-by when we use this as a noun, it means something very specific. It means a place at the side of a main road, usually an A road or a motorway in England, and a lay-by would be a small part of the road which is at the side of the road which you can pull into in order to have a rest. So usually you see lorries parked in the lay-bys along these big roads, and maybe the driver is having a sleep because maybe they've been driving for 10 hours or 20 hours and they need a rest, and so they pull into the lay-by and they have a rest. It's not the hard shoulder, which is the extra kind of lane which you're not supposed to drive in, but which you pull into when you have some kind of big problem with your car. When your car breaks down, you pull into the hard shoulder. Or maybe you pull into a lay-by, but what I'm trying to say is a lay-by is not continuous. It's a small place. Very often you see some kind of small cafe there which is serving food and drinks to the lorry drivers very often, who've had a very long trip and they just want a sandwich or something like that, or a cup of coffee to wake themselves up. So a lay-by is also a driving expression. It certainly is in England. I'm not sure about the United States. So yeah, somewhere you can pull into to have a rest on a long journey. A layabout is a person. It's a lazy person. A layabout. You might use this word to describe someone who is lazy, who's not hard-working. They're a layabout. And I think that this comes from lie about, the phrasal verb lie about. So you can see that the noun, it should be a layabout and not a layabout, really, technically. But the two verbs have been mixed up over time so many times that a layabout is now a lazy person. They lie about, they lie around, they don't put in a lot of hard work. And you should also remember the word laid back as well, which means somebody who is relaxed and calm and easygoing. So that's perhaps necessary with phrasal verbs with lay as well. Lay down means to put down. So if you lay down your weapons, you put down your weapons, you surrender your weapons. But you can lay anything down. I can lay my pen down on the table. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that, but I'm laying it down on the table. I'm putting it down on the table. That's all it means. And so really, technically, lay is just put something on a surface, which is why when you lay something out, like the knives and forks on a table, you lay out the knives and forks. That just means arrange. So lay is generally just put something on a surface like that. But you can also lay down the law, lay down the rules, lay down the guidelines. All of these collocations, and they go together very well, by the way, they all mean specify exactly what the rules are, or what the law is, or what the guidelines are. Specify them and make it clear what maybe somebody comes to stay at your house and you lay down the ground rules. You lay down the rules